We need to know what the boundaries are. We need to know what mixed structure really means, what the rules are for that. And then we thought we'd come up with a good idea about what if we asked the church if they were willing to donate a reasonably sized building that's empty for us to work together and solve the problems and have a base, and then we can carry on doing all the things we love without the worry about what's going on. The other idea was maybe we could get a piece of land to do the same thing, and then we haven't got all this mumble that we can get on with solving the problem. There was supposed to be, I believe, a working group that was supposed to be sorting out the mapping of public land. What happened to them? And there was another suggestion that if we did have this building or perhaps the shop front, and then we could communicate with other people that wouldn't feel like they could come here because it was a bit, don't really know what to expect, and they were our ideas.
Our group thought that we should let them know that we're here until some change happens in the world. If you change, then we'll consider leaving. It was also thought that, contrary to what some of the previous speakers have thought, that we should perhaps consider with some very specific, some might say outrageous demands. There's some input from the people who are finding out what these people are all about. So, something along those lines. Start bargaining and start bargaining high. As far as the downsizing goes, we'll downsize and leave in 2 months if you downsize and leave in 2 months. Whatever we decide and that we come to consensus with, we should stick to it. Campers of our words, kind of thing. I think that was it. That's it.
Much like everyone else's group, we are pretty much in the opinion of no. Yes. It did come across that it was very kind of wishy-washy and unclear from a lot of people here as to the specifics of the case. So we did all feel that like more information to be made publicly available, not just for us, but for people who are coming by to learn specifically what their problems are. There was suggestions about getting more input from regards to the fire brigade union, who are clearly on side, and with regards to the legality of highways and maintaining the space, keeping it safe. There was a bit of discussion with regards to that. Obviously, if there is a deadline to go, we will just end up spending the next 2 months, instead of talking polls and remaining, it's important that we don't focus on, big battles with the corporation long term when we really want with change. We also felt that London, and particularly this occupation, is, it's a world leader. London's a world city. We're an example to the world. So if we were to decide to capitulate and go, then, what hope does Nottingham, does Antwerp, and all those smaller places have? Kind of unkeen to negotiate with the Corporation of London, funnily enough. However, one thing we did think about was we issue demands. We are in a very interesting position where even this week the whole topic of the Rembrandter, there's an individual within Parliament who's not elected, who has the ear of the Speaker of the House. So perhaps if they have demands that we're not going to meet, we publicly issue demands that they are not going to meet. Question them, how many times local power do you use? Why is it you do this? So that then, when the eventual happens and we're evicted, you then have groups like the Daily Mail who are like, they were offered they refused to meet the council's demands on leaving, but the council did not meet, the Corporation of London, did not meet their demands for basic questions because, can I just finish this first? We don't really know anything about the Corporation of London. We're talking about democracy. Think globally, act locally. This is the weirdest, most twisted institution in the world. So the more that we can do about drawing attention to them, and then let the media do the hard work. We can't win this by ourselves, but getting other people to ask those questions will definitely help. So we issue demands that they are not going to meet, put them on the back foot, and all of a sudden they look a lot less reasonable than we do. I am joining you tomorrow. And yet, like I said, just the legalities of this court case, it's not as easy and a clear-cut case, despite what they tell you. It is very, very hard, surprisingly, to get rid of people like us. So we're here to stay, and we're with you all.
Our working group echoed a lot of things that have already been said. A lot of judges have been in favour of occupations in London, and so it would take a long time to remove us, longer than 2 months. And the suggestion was asking the House of Lords, which is empty at the weekend, if we could use that as a base for elderly people maybe who can't make it onto the steps. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone into getting here and staying here, and it would be hard to get back the land, so we can't scale back. Legal representation, yeah, isn't black and white, but I think a lot of people want kind of clarification on what is our position. Somebody suggested that this is a diversion from the issues and from the learning, the fact that we were all discussing this kind of thing. Do we all need to involve ourselves in this? Do we have lawyers and people who could be doing that for us? Government legislation is currently going through in the House of Lords. What is that? Is that emergency legislation to be able to remove us? Does that go against human rights, etc.? They're going to spin it so we have to make us totally unreasonable, so we have to kind of really make our position clear. If we go for 2 months, we'd have a time frame to kind of go to the nation and ask them what they think of what we're doing. There's not enough pressure on the corporation for them to negotiate, so yeah, maybe we should get them some demands. And the public vote is still favourable.
Hello everyone. Our group thought that we should negotiate with them and agree to everything they say. Sorry, my bad. I have to say that discussing it in a group changed some of my views, so well, we decided that everyone was unanimous, we stay, this place belongs to us and nobody tells us where to go. And there was a strong consensus from our group that if any talks are to be had with the City of London Corporation, we are dictating terms to them, not them dictating any terms to us. As a small point, there was still an issue as to what was church land and what wasn't, and could there be more research done on that, and that might work to our advantage as well, although I don't know much about that, so that's worth knowing. Yeah, there was also the thought that if they do want to negotiate with us, then they're always welcome to come to GAs and face questions from all of you, but that being the only acceptable way to negotiate. And the final thought really was that just let the TV cameras film them pulling mothers and priests steps to St. Paul's, and we'll see how good it makes them look. And yes, no to scaling down. We thought that was a bad idea. We thought we shouldn't do that.
Okay, thank you very much for all the feedback for tonight. We would like everyone to spend Christmas here with us. Okay.